Hammond Robotics presents Tone. This badass Titan is the pinnacle of overpowered, the peak of performance, and totally fucked your mom last night. Tone uses ancient Minecraft duplication glitches to ensure every volley has enough rockets to piss off the other players. In fact, Tone is so overpowered it takes another Tone to beat a Tone. If you think you've ever experienced true ecstasy, you haven't used Tone yet. Hey audience, welcome back to the Big Boy Bonanza. David the Dangler here, and this time we're talking about Tone. You guys can count to 4, right? 1, get rocket lock 1, get rocket lock 2, get rocket lock 3, and then fire. 4, you're done. That's all you need to do, that's Tone.
1, what comes after 1? 2, what comes after 2? 3, what comes after 3? 4! I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
Wait, you guys fucking actually wanted a review of this Titan? Okay. Actually, I got a lot of shit to say, so on with the guide. So as the beginning sort of stuff for Tone, Tone is a very defensive Titan that can hit basically any Titan from any range, and just has the most DPS of all time, it seems. They should have called Tone DPS. Would have been a much better one, because you can't hear Tone lock on unless you're in the Titan, which is a little disappointing. I would have loved to have heard like an air horn or some shit go off as soon as it got locked. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the gear before we can learn how to use Tone. We gotta know how to actually, what the weapons are before we can use them. So yeah, first up, let's talk about the sort of lock-on system that Tone has. Basically, like I said in the beginning, you need 3 locks before you can fire your rocket salvo. There are a few different ways to get locks. The main way is getting hits with your fucking 40mm cannon. Each hit does a partial lock, which you need 3, so you get 1 of those. You can also get locks from your sonar ping. It goes bing. It's that little thing you shoot out, the left one. And I've noticed that when you shoot the rocket salvo, I've hit some other Titans that were in the way and gotten a lock, like a partial lock. So I don't know if it was just like something else, but I've seemed to notice it a lot, so that might be a thing. Also, for the lock-on system, there's a certain amount of time before the lock-on will go away, so take advantage of having your lock-on. Don't let it go to waste. Okay, so I guess for weapons, Tone's primary, and in this sense, is the 40mm tractor cannon. Semi-auto. It's a 40mm cannon from Titanfall 1. It's got those explosive rounds, a solid rate of fire, great damage. All you need to do is lead your shots, because they're a bit slow. They don't do a ton of damage in this game, but it's just about getting the locks. I think it might be the weakest gun in Titanfall 2 for Titan weapons wise, but it may be a good thing that it's a weak gun, because if you can get shots off and people don't notice you, they don't see your health bar dropping, then you can get sneak attacks off. So yeah, pretty good weapon. It's great against or pilots. It's amazing against pilots and grunts, but against Titans, it's all right. It gets your locks. Okay, so next up, we're going to be talking about the fucking tracking rockets. You get 3 locks, you fire. It's your main DPS. This is the only thing that really does damage for you. You need to be getting these off. If people are predicting when you're firing them and blocking them in time, try to change up, the amount of when you fire them, or try to find ways to kind of get them without them, seeing it, either by getting behind corners. The fucking AC just came on. And just trying to shoot it over or around cover, because these things have a pretty wide turning radius, but at medium long ranges you can get people from around corners, or even if you look just straight up, they'll just come down on them. But that's for the really long range shots. These things got a really wide turning radius that just kind of slowly starts to become worse. So yeah, you really want to try to get these on target, because they're your main damage. But if people hide behind cover, you can look to the sides, up, down. They don't need to be in your field of view to fire. You can get a lock on, turn around, and then shoot them. It'll be a waste of a salvo, but you can do it. And the particle wall. This thing, it's a wall. You can shoot through it, they can't. If people get close, punch them. Push them out of it. Don't let them use your wall. I've played against a lot of Tones, that when you get close, they'll like pivot around you, and then they've given up their particle wall to you. So don't give up your particle wall. Fight for that bitch. You know, shove rockets in people's faces, punch people, do whatever you can to keep people out of your way. You know, in front of your wall. It's also really fucking good at taking out cores, or not taking out, blocking cores. More so with the enhanced particle wall, but still, you know, it blocks a lot of damage. And then there we got the sonar lock. I love this thing. It's basically a free, you know, it's a free radar ping. You shoot it out, in its radius, you can see pilots, grunts, titans, any titan or robotic thing like turrets and reapers. They get a partial lock. So it's great, you know, you get free locks. On top of that, you can see hiding enemies. So I love this thing. It's great at close corner fights. It's also just great at, you know, getting multiple locks at once. The sonar lock also has a limited distance for how far it can be launched before it no longer does any lock-on bonuses. So just be warned, that can happen. Yeah, just great against crowds too, actually, because, you know, they're spread out. You get all your locks at once, basically. Of course, it only gives a partial lock, so still need the other two. And finally, the salvo core. It fucking Tone shoots laser-guided rockets, and it does so much fucking damage so quickly. I've noticed with their tweaks to Tone over the time, I think they've slowed down the time, like they made it longer for the amount of time for the full salvo to be deployed. But yeah, I mean, like this thing, you shoot it. You can either shoot it right at someone, you can use it as a panic button. Just be warned, if you die while shooting your salvo core, they will instantly just fly off in random directions. They won't keep heading straight. And hell, you can even shoot it like straight up and just bring it down on someone like a fucking missile strike. Like it's great against dealing with like tanky or defensive enemies. You know, if Tone's hiding behind a particle wall, shoot it up, bring it down behind it. Just be careful, because the salvo core, it doesn't really follow the center of your screen. Like, basically, any sort of robotic or Titan just thing that is in like the general area of your center, it'll lock onto, friendly or enemy. So when you shoot this thing off, make sure there's no one standing in front of you, because no matter how far out your thing goes, it's gonna come right back just to slap your friend in the face, and then you've wasted your core. Okay, so now talked about all that shit, time to get onto the kits. Titan kits, we got the assault ship. This is actually really important for Tone, because if you're running, you know, auto Titan Tone, all Tone will use is the 40mm cannon, unless you get the assault chip. Tone won't use the particle wall, the radar ping thing, the rockets, not even the core, like just none of that shit. So get out of here, you fucking dick. Make it a guide, you son bitch. Let's see. Stealth auto-eject. You fucking get launched out the top of your Titan as soon as you're doomed. I don't care for this. It ruins your team and LTS unless the other team is just constantly, you know, terminating you. So, not great unless you're really bad at ejecting. Turbo dash, you get a free dash. I don't care for this one too much with Tone, because Tone's pretty stationary, you know. You sit down, you shoot endless volleys of rockets and bullets. If someone's, you know, gonna attack you, you put up the particle wall. If that's down, you already got a dash. Tone's not very mobile. I'd say Tone's a very slow Titan and doesn't need the extra dash. Overcore, you get 30% build time. Basically starts you out with a free electric smoke and, you know, free charge time. It's amazing. I love it. That sounded a bit like fucking Trump right there. It's amazing. No one has better core charges than me. That was a weird accent I just did. That wasn't fucking Trump. Whatever. Yeah, I love this with Tone because, you know, Tone, while getting a lot of DPS off, doesn't have a lot of build bonuses, I'd say. You know, someone like, you know, Scorch has all the dot damage to quickly build stuff. Tone, 3 shots, then a rocket volley. It's a ton of damage, but not a ton of core build. Then we got nuke ejection. When you're doomed, you fucking jump out of your Titan. Your Titan, does nuke explosion. Kills a lot of shit. I mean, it's alright if, you know, you're being swarmed by Ronins and shit. You know, that's how the enemy team's playing against you. You know, show them, make them suffer for it. They counter ready. You get an extra smoke every time you get a smoke charge. It's pretty nice, but I prefer overcore. Like, cause while tone, you know, is very, you know, just kind of sitting there. Not a lot of pilots can get up close because the fucking 40mm cannon just destroys them. You know, it's either a direct hit or like maybe like 3 at most, you know, nearby explosion hits. So yeah. Now tone kits. We got enhanced tracker rounds. This thing, it's kind of a skill-based thing, but can be good. Basically, every crit you get, you know, when you shoot those red areas of the Titan, you get 2 locks. It's pretty nice, but it's only good if, you know, obviously you're getting those critical hits. So, you know, it's also great just to, you know, throw the enemy off. They think like, okay, I've been pinged, I've been shot once, they shoot me one more time, and suddenly a whole volley comes right at them. It's a great way to surprise people. Also, when Ronin's coming at you with the sword block, you can still get lock-ons, and even the enhanced tracker rounds still work when Ronin's blocking. So Ronin's blocking, keep shooting at him. Reinforced particle wall. Particle wall lasts longer and blocks way more damage. This thing can basically block a full salvo core. It is that fucking strong. Like, if you're fighting someone, you know, just like, you know, it's just shooting back and forth and you drop this, they can't hurt you for a long time, and they're fucking stupid for just sitting there waiting for, you know, the wall to come down. So it's amazing for defense, but I prefer the pulse echo. You get 2 pings. It's amazing. No one expects it, really. Or rather, they don't know you have 2 locks. All they know is, oh, I've been pinged. It's also great because, you know, you can just have a better sort of vision of the battlefield. And just having 2 free locks means you only need to get 1 hit. And if enemies are condensed, you could get your 2 locks from the ping and, you know, just 1 AoE blast from the 40mm cannon to get your lock on. Only 1 bullet and just 1, you know, fucking pulse echo. So yeah, it's fucking great. I love this. It's great for close quarters maps. It's great for multiple enemies. It's just great. I love it. I'd always recommend pulse echo, unless you're constantly being hit by, you know, fucking salvo cores. But then you probably shouldn't be letting them get in that much build time. Okay, rocket barrage. You get 2 extra missiles. I mean, like, this. Only 2 missiles. I know I said like the rockets are your main DPS, they're your main damage output. This does not do a ton more. It really just makes it take longer before you can fire another, you know, salvo. So, I honestly wouldn't run this simply because it doesn't do much more for you. And like, yeah, if like, you know, you get a bunch of locks on Titans and you fire it and only one of them takes all of the rockets, okay, that could happen with any other thing. Yeah, you may have gotten a little bit more damage, but only 2 rockets. The salvo is a lot more than 2. You're barely increasing the, you know, your damage. So, it's not a huge bonus. Finally, the burst loader. I've seen a lot of people, including one of my friends, using this thing. And it's kind of shit. I would highly suggest not using it. Slows down your rate of fire, decreases your damage. While you do get that cool burst thing, it takes a while to charge. And on top of that, you know, like, you have to keep charging up that burst if you want to keep getting it. And I'll admit, the burst is great if you're fighting Titans that are peeking out of cover. You know, they'll be peeking out to get their quick damage off. You burst them, you got your full lock, and they may have just, you know, cowered behind cover without doing anything. So it's great for that sort of stuff. Besides that, it's pretty shit, just for all the drawbacks of having a burst. Alright, and finally, Titanfall kits. Dome Shield, Warp Fall. It's 5.5 seconds for Dome Shield. It's like 2.5 for Warp Fall. You want a perfect tone to drop in when you're playing non-LTS games? Go for Dome Shield, unless you're always going to call it in, you know, safe circumstances, then use Warp Fall. I like Warp Fall, it's fast, you know. I've said this in every video. You guys should know this, I always run Warp Fall. Okay, so now that we know about the gear, now it's time to know how to use it. So like I said before earlier, fire rockets as much as possible. It's your main damage. Like, really, the rockets are your primary. The 40mm cannon is simply the way of getting it. If there's a lot of Titans nearby, try to get as many locks at once before you fire, just so that way you can, you know, just spend a little less time firing off salvos. Because yeah, it still takes more time to get every salvo off, you know, because it stacks them up. And then it splits them up as they're firing out, so every Titan gets, you know, their number of rockets per thing. So it's great at dealing with a lot of Titans because you're dealing damage to all of them quickly. So yeah, try to get a bunch of lock-ons before you fire, unless it's, you know, a one-on-one type thing. If you're engaging Titans from dangerous, you know, locations or long distances, drop that particle wall. You know, try to limit the damage you can take and just maximize the damage you can dish out. For Tone, I'd recommend being medium-long distance. Tone can still do great close range, but you know, you kind of have to lead your shots in a bit more, especially with the rockets when they're up close. So yeah, just be careful of that. It's much better just to punch them away and then fire a rocket. Also, I'd suggest using cover with Tone. I know Tone's got the particle wall and shit, but it's got super fucking long cooldown. So it's better to use nature's cover, the map. So use cover, try to fire rockets around it, so you know an enemy will think they'll be safe, or they're trying to flank you, and then blam, they're hit from the side, they're hit from the back. You know, they didn't think it was possible the rockets could curve like that. As for ways to like best fire rockets, either look up, like not vertically, like up like maybe 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and just fire. Generally, it will arc down and around most cover. If it's something that's like super tall, like those pillars in Exoplanet, you know, look to the left or right, so that way you can kind of aim the shots away from the cover, and then they'll curve and sweep around the back of it. So main point of this, you're shooting rockets at someone behind cover, aim away from the cover. That's the main thing. And I said earlier that like the rockets, they've got a really wide turn radius. Like if you fucking want to and you're fighting someone, you know, across the map, you know, you can look fucking straight up, you can turn around and fire the rockets and they'll get there eventually. So, you know, you can have fun with it, you know, especially if you're fighting a North Star from long range, you know, and they're like hiding behind trees. Try to get it to where it goes far enough away, to, you know, to kind of sweep around their cover. And yeah, like I've said before, deal lots of damage while staying safe with Tone. You know, this isn't like a fucking sex ed thing. I mean, try to take less damage, you know, and just deal a ton of damage. People will either run or they'll panic. You know, when you take a lot of damage, you gotta make a quick choice. And usually people will hesitate or they'll make a bad choice. So try to do a ton of damage without taking a ton of damage, so that way you're able to get in more fights, as well as, you know, just fucking killing other Titans. I've killed so many Titans while being like completely doomed with Tone. Tone is stupid easy to use. There's no reason it should be a 3-star difficulty. So just use Tone to fucking obliterate people and take like no damage. That's basically what you want to do. Take very low damage, deal so much damage. And for using the salvo core, I would suggest either using it to sort of melt the tanky Titans, because it does like 4 bars of damage. It's fucking ridiculous. You know, use it against the tanky ones, use it to take out weakened ones. It's really only good against one Titan, unless, you know, there are 2 Titans that are basically doomed, because like I said, it does about 4 bars of damage. So you need obviously 2 Titans that are, you know, only have 1 bar left and are doomed. So be careful with your shots, because obviously the more shots you lose, you know, the worse it's gonna be. So try not to shoot it when there's something in your way. And of course, if someone's, you know, hunkering down behind cover, shoot the rocket salvo straight up, kind of lead it out across the map, and then just bring it down on top of the enemy Titan. It'll either come right on their head or right in their back. So, you know, try to... That fucking AC. Try your best to deal damage to enemy Titans, regardless of their defenses. Okay, now how to fight Tone. I put this in the tags, so I have to explain it. Main thing for fighting Tone, get up close and make them waste their particle wall. If they drop that bitch, get around them to where it's your particle wall, or fucking destroy it. You can destroy it by throwing the rockets back at them, shooting your own rockets at them. For North Star, it's like 1.5 fully charged shots. Also, cluster missiles will obviously fuck up the particle wall and will make it not good to hide behind. You're gonna avoid rockets. And the main way to avoid them is just kind of strafe side to side. When they get close, dash. And try not to look at them as they're coming up to you, because you move much slower when you're walking backwards. So when salvos coming your way, move to one side or the other and kind of book it. And the main thing also would be just prevent lock-ons. You know, if Tone can't lock onto you, Tone can't shoot rockets, which means Tone can't hurt you. And the best ways to do that would be either engaging from a distance long enough to where you can dodge the shots, or doing stuff like phase dash, or using shield abilities to destroy the to prevent the locks. So yeah, main thing, prevent locks and just get rid of Tone's defenses. I said in Ronin's video that Arc Wave will break the particle wall, so yeah, keep that in mind. Tone's defenses may be strong, but there are weaknesses, especially when the player's not thinking straight. Alright, so now the best ways to use Tone against other Titans, pilots, and non-LTS game modes. Here we go. First up, Legion. You're going to want to peek out and get your locks, and then just fire rockets indirectly. I say this because Legion's got a lot of bullets, and he can take down your particle wall, after enough shooting, as well as just he can do a ton of damage. So try to get your locks, fire at him, make Legion obviously have very little time to deal damage to you, and just do a lot of indirect missile fire. You'll see when you're getting hits when all those hit markers start going off, and if he's got a gun shield up, your rockets will be taking that out real quick. Also, if the gun shield is up, you can shoot like near the legs or like the kind of upper shoulder, pad things of Legion to get your lock on still. So just be aware, just because he's got the gun shield up doesn't mean he's perfectly defended. Now fighting Tone with Tone, you're either going to want to have a better shield up, or you're going to want to, knock down their shield. And the best ways I can say to do this would be get your first lock, get the first lock of the fight. If you're fighting a Tone and they're fighting you, get your lock on. When they drop their particle wall, fire your rockets. I know it'll be a little bit of a waste of a rocket salvo, but that means that their fucking particle is basically done. So yeah, keep that in mind. Use your sonar to get free locks, because when particle wall's up, or when Tone's hiding behind cover, you can't really get your shots off to actually get those locks, so use the sonar. And also for fighting Tone, I'd say if you've got a rocket salvo available, it's best to use it on Tone as soon as you see him, because, well, Tone's fucking crazy powerful, and if you don't use your rocket salvo, that Tone will. Just be aware. I wouldn't save rocket salvo, to be honest. Use it when you get it. It'll melt Titans, and there's very little margin, of error for this core. Or I guess rather, if you fuck up somehow, it's generally because someone was standing in your way, which was your fault for, shooting the core, being behind people, or, you just shot it at a wall. So, when you shoot your core off, it should destroy anyone. So, if you're fighting a Tone, take that Tone out before it has a chance, Get rid of a team's DPS. And if you do that, they're fucked. Now fighting Ronin with Tone. Engage from a distance, prevent Ronin from being able to shoot the lead wall and the arc wave at you. The sword block does not block lock-ons. While it does limit damage taken, that doesn't mean you should stop shooting. Just fucking pound the shit out of Ronin when he's walking up with you with the sword block. Just keep getting lock-ons, keep firing your salvos, because it'll do a lot of damage, as Ronin slowly approaches with his guard up. Like I said earlier, I'll just repeat it. Precision shots will get you that double lock if you're using that Tone kit to get your double locks on crits. So yeah, just because Ronin's blocking doesn't mean you can't get your crits. It's kind of weird, but whatever. And if you're fighting Ronin, I would suggest never using your particle wall, unless this Ronin's only using his lead wall for some reason. Like if it's, an assault chip Titan, or not assault chip, if it's just an auto Titan without the assault chip. I'd say for most cases with Ronin, if he's up close, either just punch him away, or fucking retreat, Because, yeah, you can deal some good damage, but Ronin's got a lot against you. He can take out your particle walls, he can remove locks by doing the phase dash. So Ronin's a tough one for you to fight, and I would suggest getting out of dodge. Alright, now fighting North Star. Obviously, the particle wall is like a must-have since North Star can deal a ton of damage. So drop your particle wall and just get your lock-ons and just fire rockets. Try to angle your rockets around covers so North Star can't hide from you. And I would say try to get close enough to where you can easily hit your shots, into where North Star's shots can be easily dodged. And that's a little weird because the closer you get, the less time there is to dodge. But if you're kind of moving like, if you're kind of strafing North Star's got a lot of aiming to do. And you just have to get these like hip fire shots off with your 40mm cannon. So, you know, try to get it to where you can easily get your lock-ons and while you can avoid damage. And if you're trading shots, you know, like say you got your lock-on, you fired a salvo, and North Star got a fully charged shot on you, that's not a great gunfight. You might want to find a better, you know, way to engage from that. Either getting closer, attacking from the side, or whatever. Something to make it so you're not taking that much fucking damage. North Star will fuck you up real quick. Now fighting Scorch. Get the fuck away from Scorch. He'll just corner you and melt you. So keep away from him, keep at a distance. Use electric smoke to put out the fires. If he's approaching you with his thermal shield up, just keep shooting him with the 40mm cannon. Don't waste your salvos, because it won't penetrate through, and he'll be getting too close for you to arc it around it. Of course, if it's like a really long, you know, gunfight with Scorch, if for some reason he's approaching you with his thermal shield up, then of course, go for those rockets. You might just get him through. Also, be careful with Scorch, because the incendiary traps, even though the gas can lands in front of your particle wall, the flame circle will still go through it. So as soon as Scorch lights up the incendiary traps, if you're standing behind that particle wall and there's a gas can right in front of you, it's gonna light you up too. So be aware of that shit. And now fighting Ion. Ion can catch and return a lot of your attacks, being the sonar pulse thing, the rockets, the 40mm cannon, and even part of your salvo core. So I'd be careful when you're fighting an Ion with full battery. For the most part, I suggest just putting up a particle wall and just let loose anything you can, because the laser shot doesn't do a ton of damage to the particle wall. And if, you know, Ion returns a few of your 40mm shots, so what? Keep shooting, make him waste his battery. And like, you're gonna have way better DPS than Ion, so, you know, as long as they've got little battery to, you know, be defensive or get off their shots, you're fucking fine. Keep going at them. So main thing, deal a lot of damage to Ion. But if the vortex shield's popping up, either just stop shooting your rockets or just pull up your particle wall. And finally, for fighting pilots or grunts and grunts too, just fucking shoot them. Like, yeah, you could punch them, but it's kind of a lot more efficient just to shoot them. You know, you can catch them in air. The explosive damage is pretty big and it'll deal good damage to them. So like, it takes one or two explosive shots really. And also, I would use the sonar to reveal hiding people. And if you're using Tone in, you know, non-LTS game modes, I suggest using Tone mostly to either shut down enemy Titans or just to kill tons of grunts or like, you know, high priority targets in Bounty Hunt. And also Tone can be very good at defending, you know, in hardpoint stuff, because particle wall, massive damage. You know, see someone coming from down the way, you can deal so much damage as they're trying to approach to, you know, take the flag. So yeah. And there we go. There is Tone. The strongest, in my opinion, of all the Titans. Kind of confused with their rating system in this game, because Tone's a 3-star difficulty, but is somehow the easiest. Or rather, is the best. I feel like either their system's backwards for rating, like 3 stars, oh that's really easy, or maybe a lot of the sort of things that they made for, you know, Tone, like having long cooldowns and shit, are making it difficulter? I don't fucking know. So yeah, next Titan coming up is Legion. Hope you guys are hyped for that. I just got my like sort of recording schedule set up. It's so much better than last semester, so I'll be able to do a lot more. I'll probably do like some sort of update video to basically ask you guys what I should be doing for the future of the channel, because, you know, I got 50 subs. Thank you guys so fucking much. So you know, I'll probably do a video asking what I should do. I've got a few ideas for things I might do. I'll pitch them to you guys. You guys can, you know, give me ideas. You can approve, disapprove, whatever the fuck. I'm doing this for the fun. And the fact that I have time in my week to actually do this more than 3 hours in one day is fucking great. And also, like I say in most videos, check out True Vanguard's video about keeping your Titan alive. I know I say this every time and you guys probably all watched it, but I think it's a great video and I would highly suggest watching it, and I would rather not copy it. You know, I see a lot of YouTubers out there that kind of do that sort of thing where it's like they highly recommend a video instead of recommending it, they just copy it. So I don't want to do that. I'd like to actually recommend it. So go out there, check it out. He's a cool guy. He does a lot of Destiny stuff, but he's got a lot of great videos on Titanfall too. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.